Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star Part 234 based on novel. So let's start. The virtual universe in a city of the Hong Alliance. After receiving the inheritance, Luo Feng appeared at the booth of a restaurant on the same day. Luo Feng, Thousand Rain Emperor, Cha Man Emperor, and Li Emperor had gathered together. Blade River Emperor, why did you call us here? Li Emperor asked bluntly. Do you need to unwind after someone tried to assassinate you today? You think Blade River Emperor is like you? Cha Man Emperor ridiculed Li Emperor. Didn't you see how he looked after the assassination? Under the eyes of millions of heirs, Blade River Emperor walked out from his mansion unflustered. It's hard to tell what he wants, Thousand Rain Emperor said jokingly, studying Luo Feng. Guys. Luo Feng held up a wine bottle and poured wine for his three guests. I want to ask you for a favor. Even the most common wine becomes a rare vintage if Blade River Emperor serves it, Cha Man Emperor said, holding up his wine glass and taking a tiny sip. Blade River, tell us, what can we do for you? We will try our best without hesitation. For them, it would be an honor to help Blade River Emperor. It was well known by now that as long as Blade River Emperor didn't die, he would attain remarkable heights in the future. It was challenging to build and maintain a friendship with such a great being. For example, the sovereign of Ganwu had taken an indirect approach. Instead of visiting Luo Feng, he chose to help Luo Feng's family. Just say the word, said Thousand Rain Emperor. We will spare no effort to help you, added Li Emperor. I want to gather the detailed intelligence about the secret region of the Ancestral God School, said Luo Feng. As far as I know, plenty of the heirs of the Ancestral God School head to the secret region through the transport passage in front of the palace of the Master of Bohinia Island. Many of them must have collected a great deal of information. I need the intelligence. Holding his wine glass, Cha Man Emperor frowned. The Ancestral God School has set up 3 passages, leading to the Land of Valuables, the Land of Inheritance, and the Secret Region, respectively. Apparently, the school wants the heirs to adventure in these places. Plenty of heirs have done so. They would team up and help each other. What's more, once the heirs apply to form a squad in the world of glory, the squad members must not kill one another. In the secret region of the Ancestral God School, the heirs' consciousnesses can always be linked and sent simultaneously to the world of glory. If anyone dares to kill their partners, they will be expelled and hunted down by the Ancestral God School. Both Thousand Rain Emperor and Li Emperor looked at Luo Feng. They were speculating whether Blade River Emperor was going to the secret region. If you are going, you'd better join a team, said Cha Man Emperor. I need the intelligence, said Luo Feng. Just tell me if you can get it. No problem, Cha Man Emperor said, nodding. Plenty of heirs have been to the secret region, and there are many bits of intelligence within the Hong Alliance. Besides, information is frequently shared among different groups. Give us some time, and we will collect the detailed intelligence about the secret region of the Ancestral God School. Blade River Emperor, if you must go to the secret region, you should be careful, said Thousand Rain Emperor. That place is so dangerous that even the detailed information and the strength of the undying level aren't enough for you. I know that you have multiple bodies and can revive even if you die there, but the adventure would be for naught if you lost your treasures in that perilous place. You'd better join an adventure team with Universe Knights. For example, Universe Knights from the Hong Alliance, or Knights from other races that have good relationships with Hong Alliance. Come on, then, said Luo Feng, raising his glass. Let's drink. Since Luo Feng didn't want to say more, his 3 guests stopped talking and enjoyed drinking with Luo Feng. The banquet didn't end until much later. As they watched Luo Feng leave, the 3 guests stood in front of the restaurant and looked at each other. It seems like he is very interested in the secret region of Ancestral God School, Cha Man Emperor said. Thousand Rain Emperor frowned. Who isn't? It's the most magical and advanced secret region. But I have the feeling that Blade River Emperor wants to go there alone. No worries, Li Emperor said. Blade River Emperor's methods are beyond our imagination. It's a rare opportunity that he asks us for a favor, so let's gather the intelligence quickly. In an instant, the three emperors left the virtual universe and headed to the world of glory. Bohinia Island. Luophong's mansion. The secret region of the ancestral god school, muttered Luophong. The most advanced secret region of the universe. It harbors the most treasures and special organisms. Hence, it is also the best place for me to search for my third body. Hands on the railings, Luophong looked at the sky in the distance. The halos containing numerous lore engravings enlarged, faded, and revived in the air. Now that I have fulfilled the third volume of Nanshan's 7 forms, I can access the second pattern of Shawu wings, which can form spatial turbulence. My ability to escape will be 100 times stronger than it is now. Fulfilling the third volume also means that my lore comprehension has reached the limit of the 20th level of Heavenly Bridge. I can't delay anymore. It's time to choose my third body. Luophong's blood was burning with anticipation and desire. Right after the inheritance was concluded in the land of inheritance, the first idea that came to Luophong's mind was to find a unique life form suitable for incubating his third body. And then, he could step into the undying level. The universe has known my name, he said, and the 3 pinnacle races have decided to murder me. I must improve my strength as soon as possible. When I become undying, I believe my genes will be essentially the same as Xuchong Emperor. By then, I will possess the strength of a universe knight, and no ordinary universe knights can be my rivals. Now, I should wait patiently for my third body. It is crucially important for my growth in the future. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luophong was physically present in his mansion, waiting for Cha Man Emperor's intelligence, but his heart had floated into the mysterious secret region where he was sure to find a special organism suitable for his third body. He waited for 16 days. Virtual Universe. In a city of Hong Alliance. On the 16th day, in the same restaurant, Luophong, Thousand Rain Emperor, Cha Man Emperor, and Li Emperor sat around a table containing cuisine from throughout the universe. As Luophong clicked the air, a screen occurred and floated in the air. He clicked open the mailbox and read the message content. In the long history of Ancestral God School, an array of heirs who didn't think they could make a breakthrough on their own efforts had ventured into the secret region early. They traveled in groups and were extremely cautious. Some received special treatment and thus became successful. Their experiences had left behind a high amount of intelligence for the generations to come. "What do you think?" said Thousand Rain Emperor jokingly. Staring at the screen, Luophong nodded several times. "Very good. Better than I imagined. The intelligence is very detailed and has recorded many dangerous places and special organisms." "Blade River," said Cha Man Emperor, "because we are friends, I want to tell you something, though it might upset you. Even with this intelligence, many heirs have died in the secret region. It is so large that nobody has fully explored it since the dawn of the universe. As detailed as this intelligence is, it has recorded only a small part of the secret region. You might want to think twice before going there alone." "I see." Luophong turned off the screen. He would study the intelligence carefully on his own later. "Relax. I won't do anything stupid." It was a promise given to reassure his friends. But Luophong was not so easily swayed. The day he got the intelligence, Luophong left Bohinia Island through the God Country transportation and arrived at the Star Tower of the Outer Region Wars. At the center hall of Star Tower. Since Luophong had already left letters in the Star Tower, they could be delivered to the center hall at any time. "I have only 100 stars in my star map," he said. 52 stars have been consumed in my second move. I'm afraid the stars won't be enough for me in the future." Luophong came to the edge of the center hall. As he flipped his hands, an enormous floating scroll appeared. Meanwhile, Luophong controlled the stars around the center hall and made them fly toward him. These were the temporarily unused stars in the Star Tower. Like raining hail, one after another star shrank and blended into the scroll swiftly. Moments later, 1,700 stars were integrated into the parchment. The star map now contained as many as 1,800 stars. Luo Feng extended his left hand, and the large scroll in the air shrank rapidly into his palm. Looking at this scroll, Luo Feng felt that the star-dotted map was just like the sky full of stars. As he counted, he found out there were 1,800 stars in total. The star map feels different after integrating 1,800 stars. On the surface, the star map was not different from before. However, since Luo Feng's consciousness was connected to the scroll, he could sense the massive, formidable power contained by the giant stars inside it. By the time I can rouse these 1,800 stars, I'll probably be a universe knight, Luo Feng said to himself. With these 1,800 stars, the star map is sufficient for me to use for a long time. Luo Feng smiled and added, Star Tower. When I come back next time, I can control you completely. And then, rays of golden light appeared in front of him. Luo Feng left through God Country Transportation. After carefully studying the intelligence about the secret region of the ancestral God School, Luo Feng purchased some treasures that he could carry from the human race's domain. Later, he returned to Bohinia Island. Luo Feng stood in his mansion and said, I have a Mosha clan body, so I can send it to explore many dangerous places. How could I possibly be suitable company for other heirs now that numerous groups are trying to assassinate me? Adventuring with other heirs would only complicate matters. Honed Heart Emperor, he instructed. Stay and guard the mansion. Remember, never set foot outside the mansion. Understood, Honed Heart Emperor said respectfully. In the blink of an eye, Luo Feng had entered the world ring. At the same time, the Luo Feng's Mosha body appeared. Aha! As the Luo Feng in black clothes grinned, he stirred up the air flow. By copying the talents and techniques of the original Luo Feng, Mosha Luo Feng turned himself into an heir of a different race, but his breathing was still the same as Luo Feng's. Since Bohinia Island was within the 5-color Aurora Lake, everything that happened on the island was supervised. As a result, the 5-color Aurora Lake was aware that the transformed heir was Luo Feng. Go! Luo Feng's Mosha body teleported himself. At the same time, he appeared at the square in front of the palace for the master of Bohinia Island. He took a step forward and entered the water curtain of the spring at the right side of the square. He vanished and was sent to the secret region. The ancestral god's secret region was boundless. Inside floated a beautiful spring, and the spring water doused the surroundings again and again. A figure walked out of the spring, Luo Feng's Mosha body. The Mosha body looked around and saw only the floating spring. There were no guards here. The ancestral god school is so confident that it placed the portal here without worrying about it being vandalized by others, he said. But, on second thought, it seems right. The secret region is the property of the ancestral god school, after all. Transform. His bodies changed, and the original Earthling body came out while the Mosha body went back inside the world ring. The original Earthling body was much more powerful, especially after completing the 3rd volume. He was able to practice the 2nd form of Shawu wings, which gave him a much higher chance of survival. Detector. Luo Feng turned on both the micro and macro detectors. Detectors were designed for adventuring in secret regions of the universe instead of the outer region war zone. Macro detectors were designed for those hurrying in their journeys through secret regions of the universe. Macro detectors could identify some celestial bodies afar and remind users to dodge them, making movements much safer. As for micro detectors, they were used for precise exploring in dangerous places. Luo Feng flew away like a flash of light. After finding that it was temporarily safe ahead, he teleported himself. He dodged the hazards cautiously. The celestial bodies inside the ancestral god school's secret region were peculiar. Some of the colossal ones looked odd. In the normal regions of the universe, most of the celestial bodies were spherical: planets, stars, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and even black holes, but in the ancestral god secret region, the celestial bodies took on irregular forms. Some of them were like enormous continents. Some were gigantic lakes in space, possibly containing islands. From time to time, Luo Feng could also see floating mountain ranges with waterfalls running over them. It all looked so beautiful and magical, but in reality, it was full of danger. Luo Feng saw one waterfall whose water could freeze even universe knights and crush their life marks, which could lead to their demise. The water was a rare substance called cold whale nine-colored water. It would be lucky for someone if they could use a treasure like the purple clock or other items to take some of the water. The water could be used in battle and wielded enormous power. Unfortunately, beneath the cold whale nine-colored water lived a terrifying special organism called the cold whale. Cold whale nine-colored water appeared as different colors from different angles, 9 colors in total. Some great beings had discovered the nine-colored water when the universe was young and had tried to collect some. However, they had been attacked by the cold whale before they could even touch the water, thus losing their lives. There was only a short description of cold whales in the information Luo Feng collected. Only universe masters were their rivals. Heirs were transported directly to the deepest area of the ancestral god secret region, which was the least dangerous. It was the place where the ancestral god school trained their heirs. Of course, there would be dangerous if there were some precious of the universe. On the 9th day of Luo Feng's journey, a beam of light suddenly stopped in the space outside the border of a mountain that was thousands of light years long. "I'll rest first after 9 days of the journey." Luo Feng stood in the space and looked around, spotting the massive mountain. The celestial bodies in the ancestral god secret region are indeed very weird. This mountain is more than 6,000 light years long, and it's perilous. According to the information I have, there are 201 of them. Lots of heirs had tried to explore the mountain before. However, only a small part of it was mapped, as it was far too dangerous. "It should take me around 32 days to arrive and see the world tree at my speed," said Luo Feng. Expectation flashed in Luo Feng's eyes. World tree. The third body of his plan. Luo Feng had high access authority in the human race and had collected a great deal of information about special organisms. He had researched them, and he had to admit that the ancestral god secret region had the most special organisms in the universe. Many mystical and powerful organisms lived in the ancestral god secret region, such as cold whales, the back mountain tremble, and world trees. They were all special organisms that could rival universe masters. After careful screening and filtering, Luo Feng had decided that he would choose world tree as his third body. Although there existed some other organisms that would be more beneficial to him, only special organisms at the sector lord level could suffice. So, Luo Feng had chosen the world tree. There were 9 world trees, in total, in the universe. The most powerful one was a universe knight. Its trunk was 7 million miles wide, and it was 370 million miles tall. The tree's canopy had a diameter of over 500 million miles. It was the largest tree-typed special organism in the universe. There were 3 undying level trees, which were only slightly smaller than the one at the universe knight level, at heights of 75 million miles. Below those were 5 sector lord level world trees, which were 40 million miles tall. Luo Feng chose world trees as his third body firstly because of their abilities. World trees had the ability of manipulation of space and time. They could control the space and time within a set range. Although it couldn't compare to that of universe masters, the power surged as their strength grew. Rumor had it that the universe knight world tree could manipulate space and time as skillfully as a universe master. As for the undying level and sector lord level ones, they were much more inferior. However, they could crush those at the same level as them. World trees had genes that were thousands of times superior to humans. Thanks to their size, they had overwhelmingly mighty godly bodies with terrific amounts of godly power. Only a few creatures dared to engage in combat with world trees. Their manipulation of space and time and their enormous size were only 2 of the advantages. There was a third advantage. A world tree could amplify and solidify God country. Luo Feng hadn't managed to find anyone with a world tree body. However, he had found that Mantua General of the ancestral god school had once taken a twig from the universe knight world tree and had planted it in his own god country. The twig had grown into a giant holy tree named Live Tree. Live Tree could stabilize God country. The stabler God country was, the most pressure it could impose on the enemies trespassing in the God country. Mantua General had used it to lure enemies into his God country. He'd killed many, it was no secret. Normally, undying fighters in God Country used the pressure to suppress enemies and make themselves several times stronger. With a live tree planted in God Country, however, it could make an undying fighter 100 times more powerful and more efficient in stifling enemies. The live tree is indeed magical, thought Luo Feng. World trees must be a great deal more magical and would further strengthen God Country. How could Luo Feng not be tempted? Besides, world trees can give me an edge in both space and time. Although I'm following the Beast God path, I'll need a breakthrough when I actually become one. Also, I might not even finish on the path of Beast God. I'll have the opportunity to follow the path of time with a world tree. The idea was to follow the path of time and space and became a universe master. Luo Feng pondered his future beside the gigantic mountain. Although his aim was a world tree, Luo Feng was also worried. No one had ever done this before, according to the intelligence he'd gathered. But it was possible that someone had hidden the information. Primal Chaos City leader once said that there was a limit to my internal world, Luo Feng thought. I can't hold the unique organism in my internal world. The world tree I chose is at the Sector Lord level, the weakest one. A species without a breakthrough in its genes hit its limit in size when it became a peak Sector Lord. Golden horned beasts were more than 600 miles long, and they would remain so even when they became undying fighters, universe knights, and even universe masters. The size would only change if the genes were improved. Luo Feng's body didn't change after practicing the 9-volume manual with his original Earthling body. He remained less than 6 feet tall. However, the 9 world trees varied in size. The most powerful one had genes thousands of times superior to those of humans, and it was a top-tier special organism. The 3 undying world trees were inferior, followed by the 5 Sector Lord world trees. Even the Sector Lord world trees are better than a twig. The twig became a live tree, which is not even a world tree. I'm just not sure whether I can breed that Sector Lord world tree or not. It should be okay, Luo Feng told himself. He was perturbed, but he also had a strong desire. The manipulation of space and time. A 37-million-mile trunk. How mighty that godly power was. God Country was the core of an undying fighter. How could Luo Feng not covet the world tree with all its advantages? The 9 world trees are living here together, which makes this a bit tricky, thought Luo Feng. But I only need a leaf of the world tree. It shouldn't be that big of a problem. Actually, Luo Feng was also worried about another issue. The dwelling place of those world trees was as strange and exotic as the mountain beside him. It was a place called 9 Remoteness Space. 9 Remoteness Space was 12 light years long, apparently not as large as the mountain beside him. However, it was one of the most dangerous areas in the ancestral god's secret region. Luo Feng had already known of several creatures that could rival universe masters. The 9 world trees occupied only a corner of that space, but a few other powerful special organisms lived there as well. That was all the information the intelligence had revealed. The ancestral god school instructed the heirs about the 8 most dangerous places, and 9 Remoteness Space was one of them. These were the places that could trap even a universe master. Creatures that could rival universe masters, which had been discovered by unlucky heirs, might only be the surface of it. I need to be careful, Luo Feng reminded himself. Even universe knights can be trapped in 9 Remoteness Space forever. I need to step lightly and maintain a low profile. I'll let the Mosha body do the work if I run into dangers because my internal world can recover it even if it is destroyed. However, if my original Earthling body is damaged and trapped in one of those dangerous places, I might never recover my true treasures. Luo Feng was indeed a bit nervous, which was perfectly normal given the reputation of 9 Remoteness Space. No risk, no reward, he said. I need to be cautious. But surely I can get a leaf of the world tree with my multiple bodies technique. 9 Remoteness Space was extremely dangerous, whereas it was visited the most by the heirs. Why was that? Because they were not afraid of death. Throughout history, heirs who couldn't achieve their breakthroughs had resorted to venturing into this dangerous place. 9 Remoteness Space was indeed dangerous, but it contained the most treasures. Even though many heirs met their demise there, many others gained a lot. A random precious object obtained in 9 remoteness space could be a true treasure, which was tempting even to universe knights. There were many more heirs in ages past. Now, there are only around 100 million. Of those who had died in other places, most had died in the secret region. Luo Feng ate something and relaxed. After half an hour, he flew into the depths of the space alongside the mountain. Sometimes he flew, and sometimes he teleported himself. Always, he was careful. Inside the palace at the peak of Thunder Island, Primal Chaos City leader, dressed in a golden cape, stood in front of his palace overlooking the vast Thunder Island. Below was one palace after another. Countless undying gods lived there, and the undying fighters lived at the bottom. There was a mountain in the middle of the island, and along the hillside lived Universe Knights. Universe Masters lived on the top of the mountain. The summit was surrounded by mist, shrouding the peak from those living below. The palace of Primal Chaos City leader was at the peak of the mountain. Standing at the top, Primal Chaos City leader could see all of Thunder Island, including Yuxiong Mountain floating afar, where his students were being trained and instructed by the powerful ones. Can my student acquire part of a world tree? Chaos City leader mumbled to himself. He's bold enough to choose the world tree as his third body. But, on second thought, everyone who wants to be a supreme being is bold. Although it's dangerous, he has the multi-body technique. I don't need to worry about him falling. 9 remoteness space, he mused. Even I haven't been there. That place belongs to the ancestral god school, and many of the places of that school are off limits to the 6 major races. The treasures can only be obtained by the heirs of the ancestral god school. 9 remoteness space was famously dangerous. However, this was not the case for Gigantic Axe founder. Gigantic Axe founder could, by all means, go in and take all the treasures there, which would have infuriated the 3 ancestral gods. The ancestral god secret region belonged to the ancestral gods, and many special organisms were owned by the ancestral god school, along with other treasures. The ancestral gods could certainly have taken them all. Instead, they left them there for the students. After all, such treasures were of no use to them. The heirs were cultivated by the ancestral god school and were given some special treatment. They would become sub-members of the school. As for the 6 major races, the Space Beast Alliance, and the Northern Territory Alliance, they were given no chance of getting in. Luo Feng, he said. It all depends on you now. You need power, brains, and luck. Let's see whether your internal world is strong enough to breed the world tree body. Primal Chaos City leader knew that a result would come in a month or 2. He wasn't sure if Luo Feng's internal world could breed the world tree body. The internal world of the Golden Horned Beast could breed a body that was 100 times stronger than their original bodies. As for the world trees at the Sector Lord level, they were 2 levels lower than the most powerful one. Perhaps it was just within the limit of Luo Feng's internal world. Luck, said Primal Chaos City leader. We shall see whether he has the luck of breeding a world tree. Expectations flashed through Primal Chaos City leader's eyes. Luo Feng was going forward carefully and trying to dodge all the dangerous places. He wouldn't even go to places he thought might hold treasures, as his only target was the world tree in 9 remoteness space. He didn't want to trouble himself. In the ancestral god's secret region, where there were treasures, there was danger. Luo Feng sped up like a flash of light, followed by his macro detector and micro detector, constantly scanning for danger around him. He teleported himself only in some safe areas. 0.8 light years away from Luo Feng, there was an area without any celestial bodies. Luo Feng arrived there after flying and teleporting himself for an hour. According to my information, there were hidden dangers in this information. Luo Feng looked at the boundless space. But, alas, this is the safest route, to my knowledge. I still need to pass 12 dangerous areas to arrive at 9 remoteness space. It was impossible to find an absolutely safe route to 9 remoteness space. Luo Feng was, after all, still very weak. Many areas that would have been safe for Universe Knights were hazardous for him. This area was one of them. Universe Knights might have flown across it or teleported through it instantly, whereas the farthest Luo Feng could teleport was 1 light year away. Careful, Luo Feng told himself. He used world projection, which helped him detect the danger around. Every time, Luo Feng teleported within the range of world projection, and each teleportation was tens of millions of miles away. Luo Feng teleported hundreds of times. After teleporting a light year away, Luo Feng stopped and started to rest. Such short-distance teleportation, Luo Feng said, shaking his head. Ahead of him was still the boundless space. Without warning, a space whirlpool with a diameter of about 6,000 miles came into being around Luo Feng. The pressure from the space whirlpool was unbreakable for him. Shawu wings. Luo Feng opened the wings and tried to drive. With the help of his current level of law comprehension, the complicated Shawu wings were connected by countless threads. Before, in the outer region war zone, Luo Feng could only carry out the first form of transformation of Shawu wings. Now, with more and more law threads utilized by Luo Feng, all the edges of the Shawu wings were lengthened and turned golden. The feathers on the wings had previously looked like ordinary feathers with sharp edges. Now, they were long and sharp, like miniature sabers, silver wings with golden edges. The Shawu wings swung, and the saber-shaped feathers on its edge cut through space. Under the space energy of the Shawu wings, a windy turbulence was formed. Break! Luo Feng shouted. Trapped in the space whirlpool, Luo Feng struggled to get out. The space whirlpool was blocked entirely from the outside, and he couldn't teleport himself. His only recourse was to damage the space whirlpool with his Shawu wings. After only 2 seconds, the space whirlpool faded like smoke. Luo Feng was relieved. However, he was dazed at the sight of his surroundings. Where am I? Luo Feng was surrounded by solid ground covered by all sorts of plants and trees. They all had different colors, and a flowery fragrance drifted through the air. A mountain blocked his view in the distance. The sky above the ground was filled with blue air. Better check the universe coordinates, Luo Feng said. He was astonished after checking the coordinates. I'm 300 light years away from the space I just left. That space whirlpool must be a natural portal. Luo Feng frowned and looked around. That whirlpool had disrupted his plan. Fortunately, according to the coordinates, he was actually closer to 9 remoteness space, now. As long as he could get out, it would only take him 10 days to arrive at 9 remoteness space. What is this? He wondered. I have no information that describes this place. He looked around, alert. It was an unidentified area, and he had been transferred here by a space whirlpool that had come out of nowhere. Surely, that had been no accident. It was highly likely that there was danger lurking here. Both the macro detector and the micro detector started to scan the surroundings. The space ripple here was completely separated from the outside world, he said, and that blue air seems to be responsible. I can't feel any space ripple outside that layer of blue air. Luo Feng looked up. It was common for certain districts in the secret regions of the universe that could block teleportation. Now I'm in trouble. This video will end here.